it has gotten harder for email newsletters.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like you actually really have to be on your game.
Yep.
With not only like how you do it, like what email it's coming from you, making sure you got the most up-to-date one for them. Like some people, it's their work emails and their work doesn't allow for things.
But some of these spywares and filters for email, they will look at the words you use
Yes. Yep.
in your subject line,
It's true.
and they'll bounce out just because of that.
Yeah. No, there's like strategy involved about what you say and how you word things.
So as good as it is, right, there are some drawbacks
pitfalls. Yep.
about where email newsletters are these days.
Welcome to the podcast dedicated to real estate, insurance, and building your business. Join us as we take you along our own business building journeys with additional wisdom from our network of local and national experts. Welcome to Bricks and Risk.
This episode is brought to you by Property Management Redefined. PMR is not just managing properties, we're creating partnerships that build long-term success for property owners. John and his team can be reached at manage@gopmr.com or by phone 267-753-6005. Tim,
Yes, Sean.
who's a good client for PMR?
Property Management Redefined is looking for property owners who value three things: accountability, reliability, and a results-driven approach. They want to maximize returns, but still provide client and tenant satisfaction.
There's a lot of property managers out there.
Yes, there are.
What does PMR do really well?
Biggest thing is they're seamless and they're worry-free. So with that approach in mind, it allows the property owner to put their trust in PMR and know that the results will be there. The other thing I think a property owner is really going to value because they do it so well is that they have a local expert team, boots on the ground, managing your properties and your tenants' expectations every day so that you feel good about your investments.
We have millions of listeners out there.
Tens of millions.
If they want more information, how do they find PMR?
Right here, guys. Reach out to John Sachs and his team at Property Management Redefined. We'll take good care of you. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bricks and Risk. I'm TMJG the First.
And I'm TMG, the first, as co-host Sean P. Mooney.
Do you know what the J stands for?
I don't know. Joe.
It's my confirmation name. Take a stab.
Jag.
Definitely not Jag. Or St. Jag.
Jeremiah Trotter.
James.
That was going to be my next guess.
Yep. It's okay. All right, dude. What are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about email marketing.
That's our toppy.
Toppy today.
Okay. How do you want to get in this one? How are we going to like break it down for the listeners and watchers?
We're going to come at it as why email marketing is so valuable for a business.
Okay. Well, let's start off with some personal examples.
Let's go.
So my personal example with email marketing, the one that I've talked about many, many times before, so much so that you're probably like, stop talking about it, is my monthly email newsletter.
I think there was a review on our show that said, can you please have Tim stop?
They're like STFU Tim about the monthly email newsletter.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with acronyms, you'll know what that means.
Right.
So the reason I want to tackle that one is because when I started that newsletter, like almost 15 years ago, I had about 500 people in my database. That's how many people got it. That's who I sent it out to. Fast forward 15 years later, organically, I've now turned that into about 3,500. Okay. So the monthly email newsletter is valuable, one, from an efficiency standpoint. So I was reaching out to 500 people before, now I'm reaching out to 3,500, and it's the same amount of work. Whether I'm sending it to one person or I'm sending it to 1 million people, email marketing is the same amount of work. So that's first and foremost. The second reason personally that has always worked for me is because I have like a direct line to their most viewed platform, let's call it. Most people look at their email, if you have a job, more than anything. Meaning that's how business is done, primarily communicated. Oh, I got to send you this, or we got to talk about that. Here's my quote. Here's my review. You know, I'm updating you on your file. You know, you're buying a house. Let me send you an email, let you know what's going on. So everyone's checking their email all day. And the email also, I think, is a little bit more important than a text message because texts are just like coming and going. I'm not getting my bills through text. You know, can you get, you know, some media and some things through text? Yes. But email is really like, it's kind of like it's your mailbox. It's like you're relying on your mailbox to pay your bills and run your life if you're old school.
I think in 5 years, there won't be any email.
Okay. Talk about that. Let's go down the Mooney rabbit hole.
I just think everything is going to be text.
Okay.
Like what? Like why? I guess there's a point.
Why do you think it's going to be text?
Just for convenience sake, I think they're going to find a way to format text emails into, because right now you can still do everything. You can send a PDF via text message.
Wouldn't that also be the same argument? Is that there won't be a Google search engine anymore? You're just going to do it through AI?
Well, that's already kind of funny you say that. Google now, if you go into Google, their Gemini
is doing a lot of your work,
your search.
Yes.
So like, well, in addition to that, Google doesn't want you off page.
Right.
Google doesn't want you to search, find something, and go somewhere else. So what they've baked into the Google search is the Google Gemini response for your question.
Very smart, Google.
What you're looking for. So it's much like these social media platforms that don't want you to go watch YouTube over there. So they'll do it inlay on the app itself.
Okay.
They don't want you leaving. That's why Instagram doesn't allow you to do anything.
Right.
They want to hold your attention here.
They don't allow you to do anything?
You can't do anything with Instagram.
It's not allowed.
Literally. It's like the People's Republic of Instagram.
Don't even try and type something because you won't be able to.
Like you can't even put a happy face on a post.
All right. So aside from that rabbit hole, why don't you tell listeners and watchers, you know, your experience with email marketing?
Yeah. So we do a quarterly email. We don't do it nearly as enough as I would like. So if there's any providers out there that curate newsletters, I'd like to get up to a monthly newsletter.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. But for all the same reasons, you know, you're top of mind, you're touching clients, you're giving them valuable information, something that's noteworthy to them. So I think I do agree that it is probably the number one most efficient way to connect with clients and prospects and everyone kind of in your network.
It's like a direct line connection. So let's think about some of the other channels. You mentioned text message. Okay, we can have a group text message with 3,500 people. Not to say you...
No, but the text message is a direct line of communication.
Yep. And I think there's also like perception. So like spam has come a long way in email, meaning sometimes you get emails now and it's automatically, especially with Gmail, it'll automatically like sort through stuff. It'll put stuff in spam or it'll say, this looks suspicious.
Yep.
Do you want to report it?
Yep.
So then that has gotten a little bit better.
Yep. But also a lot, so baked into that is that it has gotten harder for email newsletters.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like you actually really have to be on your game.
Yep.
With not only like how you do it, like what email it's coming from you, making sure you got the most up-to-date one for them. Like some people, it's their work emails and their work doesn't allow for things.
But some of these spywares and filters for email, they will look at the words you use
Yes. Yep.
in your subject line,
It's true.
and they'll bounce out just because of that.
Yeah. No, there's like strategy involved about what you say and how you word things.
So as good as it is, right, there are some drawbacks
pitfalls. Yep.
about where email newsletters are these days.
Yep. Agreed. All right. So this is what we're going to do today, folks. We're going to go over 3 reasons why email marketing is valuable. So number 1, which is probably what I was getting at, is you're going to be able to build relationships directly with your audience, meaning one-to-one. It's something from me and it's coming right to you. It's got your name on it, your email address, and if you do your email marketing right, it's usually like valuable content. You're not just Look, there's lots of different ways to do email marketing, which I don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But if you're sending something on a monthly basis, let's call it, you're sending it quarterly, it's probably going to have some either curated content or original content or images or video or whatever it is so that it's eye-catching. And that the reason you're sending it is you're trying to send out either interesting, helpful, financially valuable information for free to your audience.
Not even financial. You could have the newsletter talking about, you're being a sponsor for a community day. And you want to let people know, hey, we're out here, we're doing this. We're getting involved. We have free tickets. We want you and your family to come out and join us. I mean, there's obviously the financial aspect of it, of like, hey, how can you help people financially or whatever that may be. But there's also a component that you can layer in that is totally non-financial.
Yep.
And maybe that is the argument to even make a deeper connection.
Yeah. And it's like you're building that relationship, but a lot of that has to do with like who you are. I've said what you love, like what you're passionate about. Hey, if you're passionate about community service and that is just part of your lifestyle, but also part of your brand identity. Some people, when they sell products, they give it back, to plant a tree or to like clean up a river or do things like
I saw
feed the hungry.
Go one the other day. Rory from Marathon Mortgage.
What's up, Roar?
Hey, Rory. It was Earth Day the other day, and part of his program
I did see that. That was good.
He has for work, every application, I believe, plants trees and has partnered with forget the name of it. Maybe we'll find it and link it up. But just again, a different connectivity point.
Yep.
To show people like, oh, this is what I'm interested in. This is, working with me helps, a good cause over here.
Yeah. No, it's like, and some of the points off of that one are it's really provides a personal touch.
Yep.
It's going to keep you top of mind. So if you're sending something consistently, if you're sending it regularly to your audience, you're going to stay top of mind. And then also it's going to build that brand loyalty. That example you just gave of Rory is like, he's letting people know this is important to him.
Yeah.
And if it's important to you, guess what? It's going to create that loyalty.
Yeah.
If you want to partner with someone who takes some of their income and gives it back for a purpose that you believe in, it's going to make you feel more connected. So I think
lets people
that's
know,
awesome.
Yeah. Let's people know who you are and what you're about.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. All right. So reason number 2, cost effective and efficient. So this will go back to like my original point, is that whether you're sending the email out to one person or 1 million people, it's the same amount of time.
Same process.
To do it. So this is, and I hear this so often, you had just talked about Alex Hormozi,
yep,
who's awesome. He's got great stuff. He's such a forward-thinking, progressive, just knowledgeable business guy. And he was talking about email marketing. Why don't you share what you heard through him?
Yeah. So what he was kind of describing was trying to find the sweet spot of how many touch points should a business be doing with their email newsletter.
Uh-huh.
And basically, if you're a business and you're not doing email newsletters, close your doors, shut down, go home, go away.
Wow. Really?
No, he didn't say that. I'm just kind of
Okay, cool.
No, his point was that was my point.
that was the Mooneyism.
Yeah. But what he was saying was finding that sweet spot of how many touch points, how many bits of email per week or per month. And what he did was thousands and millions, I guess, I don't know, of emails that were sent, came up with the exact number of how many emails you need to be sending per week.
And that was, you were saying that was a little bit more for like kind of like a product, like maybe if you were selling like a product.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what the business is and what their clientele is. So I guess it's, his seemed to be specific to selling goods or products.
Yeah, so something that you might purchase on a regular basis.
Or a retail store or something along those lines where you're selling product.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So
his was what he kind of, after all of the research and looking at, the response and the open rates and the unsubscribe responses that he was getting with that, it was 3 emails per week was the magic number where it was beyond like too little of a touch, and it was less than where you start seeing like a very steep decline with subscriptions.
I'm going to give an example. Do you think for you and I, let's say, that 3 emails a week would be overkill?
My unsubscribe would
my answer would be 90%. Like, yes, like, Tim, leave me the F alone.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to hear about your real estate business.
Probably whittle,
or even what you like or who you are.
You probably whittle it down to like 50 people that were really if you had, and part of his thing too was the importance and the value of what you're sending.
Yes.
Right? Like if you send out really high quality, high information, high touch point material, right? That's going to be a higher open rate.
Yep.
People are going to want to stay on and stay subscribed to be in the know.
Yep.
Right? So there's definitely a component of how much quality you're putting into it. But three was his number. But I think depending upon industry and what you do and who you're trying to reach, that will vary for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, let's talk about the cost-effective part. So it is an inexpensive way to reach a large audience, so much more so than other forms of advertising. Like, let's say you're into print, like you like postcards or you like letters. Well, if you're going to do that once a month, it's a lot of work. Not only that, it can cost a lot of money. You need the printer, you need the paper, you need the envelopes, you need the stamps, and most importantly, you need the time to get all that together, fold it, stuff it, put it in the mailbox. You can automate it.
Yeah.
But to your point, quality stuff, like if you want it to be quality, what do people say about putting some in the mail? Handwrite it. Handwrite the envelope or handwrite the signature on the inside.
I know an insurance agent that bought a handwriting machine.
I know that they do that now. Is it pretty legit?
It's more legit, but
you still look at it and you're like,
if someone had a clue, they'd be like.
And then I think of that. It's like, as much as you take the shortcut with that, people are like, what? Now you're trying to fool me. So it's just like, that's going to work against you even more. But anyway, and it's using that automation to save time and resources. So again, whether it's going to one person or 1 million people, it's the same amount of time. You got to put it together. You hit send. It just depends how big your list is and who it's going out to. But the biggest part of this one, which I love, is the ROI. So I found this on MailChimp. What's up, MailChimp? You're who I use for my email marketing. They had said an email can generate $42 for every dollar spent. And they broke it down into a few things. It retains clients. It drives traffic to your website. And that B2B businesses, 87% of them are using some kind of email marketing, and B2C, which is more our business, 79% are using it. And my guess is really not in the sense like you send an email, they want to use you for insurance or they want to sell their home through me. It's that is the gateway in order to potentially start doing business with us in the future. They go to the website, they go to the social media, they come to your Bricks and Risk happy hour where you're crushing stateside oranges or Two Robbers oranges.
Cider.
Which one's your favorite orange today?
Cara. Two Robber.
Two Robber.
Orange.
What's up, Two Robbers?
Over ice.
Going local.
Yeah.
Are you drinking that at home now?
I am. I loaded up.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Here, I'm a little suspect though.
Yeah.
I have to just point this out.
We're gonna go a little half empty. Half empty Two Robbers.
One half.
You got 5 sips left.
One half. Cara. I'm always a little suspect when an entity does its own research.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. I may have misquoted a little bit. As much as this was found on MailChimp, it came from an outside source. And I just can't remember what their outside.
The outside source that MailChimp paid to put together the research
was MailChimp's parent company.
Yeah. But take that away. I think that
a little biased.
Yeah. I don't know what it doesn't matter. If it's $30 per dollar, I don't care.
If it's
right?
15.
If it's 15.
If you're 15X, then it's pretty good.
So I think that the overall theme with that is when you put money into that, you're going to more than get out what you're putting in if it's done on a continuous basis.
It's like the opposite of a slot machine. The more you keep putting in, the more you lose with the slots.
Right.
Unless you're wearing one of like those see-through like green plastic visors and you smoke a lot of cigarettes and you're just pressing a lot of buttons like all the time, eventually you're going to start winning some cash.
We played blackjack last year. Uncle Tony got very upset with me because we usually put our money into a pot and he usually plays because he's pretty good.
Okay.
And then he had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, wait. So everyone contributes to Uncle Tony.
Yeah.
And because he's that player, you let him handle the fund.
Yeah. And then usually he wins. So then we go out, Oh,
that's cool. Is he a card counter?
He's not a counter, but he plays a lot of poker,
So he sees the patterns.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But he went to the bathroom and I was,
you sit down and you double down on everything.
We went to the VFW before. Oh, dude, he was like, he was just giving me like
I'm gonna come out to one of these nights.
He gets the Cliff's notes, like, listen, hit here, don't hit here, like, give me walk through. So he leaves and like everything's out the window. And this guy next to me is like some old like crotchety guy who's like drinking some weird whiskey drink and smoking away.
Drinking a gimlet.
And he's like, all right, kid, here's what you do. And he starts putting these little side bets going on the blackjack table. And Uncle Tony was like, no, you don't do that. He gets so upset. Like, you don't do that. You don't do that. Just play the card, Yeah,
he's got a system.
But so he came back like half an hour later and I'm like up because I hit him.
Because you're doing the non-Uncle Tony method through a neighboring guy who's like, yeah, that's what you do, Sean.
Yep. So that was our
oh, I love that.
Night out at the casino with Uncle Tony.
I got to come out for an Uncle Tony night. Hey, everyone. This is Tim, your favorite Bricks and Risk co-host. But don't tell Sean. I hope you're enjoying this episode, and I'll get right back to it in a moment. Our audience grows through word of mouth. So if you would please take a moment of your time and give us a review on the platform you're on, that would be fantastic. Please also help spread the BNR word by sharing your favorite episode with a friend. We greatly appreciate your time and trust. Now, back to the show. All right, so let's go to number three. Number three. I actually find to be the most important, probably part of the reason why Alex said this is so important, is owning your contacts. And I don't want that to sound any more than what it is. It means you have a direct line to this audience through your own effort. No one can take that away. Even if, for whatever reason, MailChimp said, we're changing the way we do business, it's more money, or we're doing it in a way that you don't like it, guess what? You take your list, you go somewhere else, and you put it down. Now, The reason I say that's important is because we're just in such a social media fueled business world now, especially in real estate. Like there are podcasts and businesses that literally that's all they talk about is your Instagram profile, your Facebook profile, your LinkedIn profile, like the algorithm, stories versus posts versus carousels versus reels. Like the whole thing is based on that. And that's good. Like I love social media. I think social media is great, but they change the algorithm all the time so that no one gets too wise as to how the platform is running and they don't abuse the system. So with that being said, first of all, if your account got hacked, let's say, it's gone. Like all your followers are gone. All that history is gone. Your grid, your look, your vibe, everything that's out there is gone.
All that hard work that you put into your profile would be gone.
Yeah. And you're starting over from scratch. Email is a little bit more tried, true, and tested that, again, it's really more up to you what you want to do with that list. Now, if you're sending out garbage emails, people will unsubscribe. But if you send out high quality stuff, then you'll go out to a barbecue and they're like, well, how come such and such gets your email newsletter and I don't?
Yeah.
Like I have actually heard that. Why don't you send it to me? I'm like, I do send it to you. And then I look at my contacts. I'm like, I got this. They're like, that's my old email. I'm not MSN anymore. I'm Gmail. And I said, oh, you are? What's wrong with MSN? It's a pretty good email site.
Yeah.
Why'd you bail? Anyway, what are your thoughts on owning your contacts?
So if you think about it in terms of you work for someone else, right? Let's say you're an insurance agent and you work for Jim Bob Insurance, right?
I heard they're pretty good.
They are good. Very good.
The good name.
Yeah. AM Best, A++ rated.
Awesome.
How do you, like, number one, find your own voice, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
So in an email newsletter, you're able to craft an email and kind of find your own personality that's not attached to Jim Bob.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a key component to it. Mikey Mortgage, we had...
What's up, Mike?
We had a long conversation about this in terms of finding new clients, being attached to clients, and, you know, trying to develop new business using the newsletter, being top of mind with that. So I think it's finding your own voice and being able to speak to your clientele the way you want to. That would be number one. Number two is having that control, right? So like Facebook shuts down tomorrow, right? How are you going to maneuver around that?
Right.
Right. Like if you put all your eggs in Instagram, right? And like you said, like if it's hacked or something, you're, you know, a month
or
out.
They change the rules and you start posting stuff and you start losing people because they change the rules and you have no idea.
Yep. It's definitely, I would say, the best backstop, right? Or safety net, even if you are doing all kinds of social media.
Yep.
I think having it as a different way to communicate and just having that, let's say it again, Dill, that Rolodex of contacts that you have that you can speak to as frequently or as not frequently as you want. Yeah. So just some real valuable things that come along with the email newsletter.
I agree. Here's another great point about the email newsletter and your contacts. Building an email list takes time. And it's hard. Like you almost have to get in the habit of doing this. So great example. We just did the Bricks and Risk happy hour like a week ago and 2 weeks ago. And like, you have to be in that mindset that when you're meeting people, especially in person, it's almost like you got a card on you. Can you give me a business card? Because you want to double check things. Maybe you want to double check the email, the phone, things like that. Or you're also going into your phone. You're like, I just want to make sure, do I have the best email address for you? Is this, and there's so many times that happens to me where I ask that and they say no. And they're like, no, can you update it to this? The work email stinks. Like, don't send it there, send it here. And then we also just did our Fiji Phi Gamma Delta Pig Dinner, which is our annual alumni event.
Yep.
I had that because I'm a psycho with email and it's just my strong suit. And he knows. And even with that,
no comment.
Even with that, you came though. So at least you showed up.
Psycho.
Even that, I have to go out and I have to constantly ask people. I'm like, yo, do I got your best email address? Let me just double check it.
John Casey, perfect example.
Perfect example. What's up, John? It's also like these little tiny things that if you fine tune them, your list becomes that much stronger. Because here's a great example. If you're sending it out to 100 people and you're only getting like a 10% open rate, that's technically considered a little low. If you're sending it out to 100 people and you're getting like a 40% open rate with like a 2 or 3% click rate, that's considered really good. And you're like, why is this person getting 40 and why is this person getting 10? A lot of that is really in not only the email address, but as you had said in the beginning, like, what does it say in the subject line? Like, how does it come into their email inbox? Like, is it going right to spam or is it going into the inbox? So there's strategy behind it, but it's still building that email list over time is hard. And I think, again, we just did an episode before this on scarcity versus abundance. It's like having that scarcity mindset is a little bit easier. It's the first reaction from your brain. And it's just, I'll just go with it. They got the deal I didn't. I'm pissed off. But if you wait for the second reaction with the abundance mindset and think a little bit more like, you know what? That's okay that they got that. I'll get the next one. Or I got another one coming right down the road. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah. Or if it's, hey, my open rate is 9%.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to give this up. Like, this isn't for me. I'm not going to do email newsletter.
It's a great way to put it.
Or you can say, I'm at 9%. How can I get to like,
why is it 9?
15 or 20?
Exactly.
It's the same exact thing that you're trying to configure, right? You're trying to find the ways to improve. You're trying to find the ways to just get better. And that little time to tinker, to touch, right? So maybe you send it out. And then maybe it's a follow-up text message. Hey, send this out. Hey, did you get this? Do I have the right to email?
Exactly.
It's different things like that where you see the value in the email newsletter. You know that it works. You know that there's value there. It's taking the time to get the process right, to ensure that your contacts are right, and you're driving towards a better open rate.
Awesome. I love that. And the last point I wanted to make on this is that with your contacts, you can move them from one platform to another.
Yep.
Or from one company to another.
Yep.
Especially in residential real estate, agents switch brokerages like they switch like food preferences. Like it happens all the time.
Right.
It's like they used to eat, hoagies and cheesesteaks with the bread, and then they go GF and then they eat it over fries. So again, that changed.
Ye Old Ale House.
Right.
Who orders a roast beef sandwich?
Shout out to Ye Old Ale House. Fantastic roast beef sandwiches in Lafayette Hill.
Ale.
All right. That's all we really got for this one, unless you got anything else to add.
Yeah, no. What was the point before that?
Food preferences.
Oh, taking a list. Oh, yeah. So this is what I want to say. Owning your list, own your contacts, right?
Yep.
You can then take that list, make it a CSV file.
Exactly.
And you can now upload that CSV file to Facebook and you can run an ads program on that.
Yeah.
So not thinking of it as real estate and realtors and connections, but like as a business, right? You have clients, you have prospects. And if you're doing newsletters the right way, you have 2 newsletters.
Yeah.
One for clients, one for prospects.
Love it.
And the prospect list goes into a CSV. That CSV gets uploaded to Facebook. Facebook, you target against that list.
Yeah.
You run ads against that list. And then they're going to not only get your newsletter, but now they're going to see you on Facebook. And you just kind of hit that in a couple different directions. So the versatility that you have when you have that contact list inside your newsletter is invaluable.
I love it, man. All right. Close this one out.
Hey, everyone. If you've been looking to email the show and you haven't had the email address, here's your opportunity. bricksandrisk@gmail.com.
Put us in as a contact in your iPhone, not your Droid.
Shoot us a note. Have any questions? Send us an email. Let us know what's up. You can find us also on all audio streams, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, whatever your preference is. We're on social media as well. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're now over 600 people.
600, which is awesome.
And you can find us on YouTube. And if you hung on to the show this far, we appreciate you.
We do. That's all we have for this one, folks. Thank you for tuning in again to another episode of Bricks and Risk. See you soon. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Bricks and Risk. Our goal is that you walk away with 1 or 2 valuable nuggets, and we greatly appreciate you sharing your time with us today. You can find all B&R episodes on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcast content. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.